Are your services limited to individuals or just or organizations? Do you work with both individuals and organizations?
Yes, we do. We have a program that's workplace grief. And the reason we do that is, again, because of education. So we help them with grief sensitivity training. They've never experienced, and I always use the example of Sheryl Sandberg, who is the CEO of Facebook. Facebook used to give 3 to 5 days, like most organizations, for loss of immediate family member, until Sheryl lost her husband or previous husband while they were on vacation in Mexico. And what Sheryl found was, this grief follows me back to work for days, for weeks, for months. And what happened is Facebook now offers 20 days of bereavement leave. But see, they didn't until Sheryl experienced it herself. It's not their fault. They've just never had the education and training on what that person is going through when they're grieving. How do we address it? What do we say to them? What should we not say to them? So we do grief sensitivity training for organizations, for workplaces, for churches, for any type of business, just to help them to really just create that compassion. It's not therapy, it's not rocket science that we're introducing. We're just educating and helping them to create compassionate and grief-friendly workplaces.
Thank you for that. So are there, and this is going to be our last question, are there any books or articles that you would recommend for grief and how to overcome it?
There are, Frances, so many resources. Amazon has resources. There's support groups online. My bookshelf is filled with books and resources. So I always say, look for a resource that speaks to you. If it's a book that someone has written about the loss of their dad, then that may speak to you. Because just like grief, we're all unique individuals. One book may work for you, may touch you right at the core where it needs to. And for the other person, it may be a complete turn off and not effective at all. So I always just say, for books, look through Amazon. Of course, read the book description. And if it speaks to you, and of course, I have a series of books and small wisdom nuggets and a blog post, but you have to look for something that really, really individually speaks for you. The other thing is, a lot of times we don't move through grief because of fear. And it's fear of what's on the other side. It's fear of how can I really get along without my loved one? So that's an impetus to grief. So aside from grief books, and I used to be a Feel the Fear trainer, I always recommend to my clients to read Susan Jeffers' Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. No, it's not a grief book, but it addresses the fear that we have on anything that's outside of our comfort zone. And grief is definitely something that's outside of our comfort zone.